What's going on, YouTube modeling community? Pappy here, West Georgia Rods and Customs. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Unified Scale Auto Content Creators of YouTube's group bill, better known as the USACC bill. Today we have wanted to talk to y'all about how I set the ride height. And as you can tell right here, I have got pretty much what I want as far as in ride height. I've got we'll break it down. We'll show you what all we've done. Everything is taped into place. The body's taped to the frame. The K member is actually taped into the frame itself. That way, that simulates just how it's glued in. Everything as far as the axles up here are set. The wheels are actually in the into the axles itself, how they would be glued in. I do not have the 4-link built up yet. That'll be after the final assembly, and then when we start once we get it, final assembly in the frame area, we'll start assembling everything as far as once it's painted, as far as the rear end, the links itself, and items like that. Because this 4-link has when you get one from MCV Products, there's about there's probably about 8 pieces. You'll get a rear end. You'll get four. You'll get four of the ladder links. What else? You'll get 2 sets of coilovers. You'll get another ladder bar. So there's quite a bit of assembly. So you don't really want to glue it in. Have to be painting all that in. So what I like to do is I like to mock up to where I want the final assembly on the stance of the tires and wheels. And as you can see, I have everything as far as the tire itself. It's centered in the fender well. It's centered right here. I've got the motor sitting in the car itself. Nothing's touching in it. It's just how it will be. I have the hood on here, but we're going to break this down, and I'll show you how I get the ride height set. As you can tell, I've got, and I'm going to take I'll take my ruler right here. You see how I've got, it's got a little what I like to call the stink eye stance. In other words, it's got it's not perfectly level like that. It's got a little rake to the front end of it. So I kind of like that. I didn't want it to be perfectly level. I thought about it, but once I got this, once I got the blocks cut in the rear, and got the tires setting on them, that's how I really like that particular look. So, all right, we're going to talk a little bit about how I achieve the stance. Will I use the pieces that I'm about to show you in the final assembly? Yes, I will, and I'll show you why. Yeah, a lot of people when they go to say a model show, or they see a model on YouTube that's built and it's got a real nice stance to it, you don't see what we have to actually do to achieve the stance. What I do, and you have to get in the mindset of not of thinking this is not a going to be a car that you go out, you throw a set of keys in it and you crank it and you take off. There is a lot of things that you don't see behind the scenes that builders do in order to achieve a final, a final product. And I'm gonna show y'all a lot of stuff that you don't see maybe at a model show or even on YouTube of a final build. Let's start breaking this down right here, and we're going to talk about. You heard me talk about a shim that went that I've got back here. Now, what is that shim? It's a piece of this right here. It's 060 sheet styrene, and I just cut it probably about an inch, actually 3/4 of an inch. I cut a strip of 060 styrene 3/4 of an inch this way. And this is probably about 4 or 5 inches. I use this in multiple things. So, and then what we do is we take. Let's start breaking this down right quick, and we'll set that back there. These are the tires and wheels that MCV Products sells. Very nice. I really love these wheels. These things, I cannot wait to get these things painted up. But what I'll do is I'll take this sheet of styrene, this 060 styrene, and I will cut a piece no wider than the tire itself. I will actually just mark it right there. I'll take my hobby knife and a straight edge, score that, snap that in half, and that is my shim. Now, where is that shim going to go? Glad you asked. Let's keep breaking this down a little bit more. Take the hood. We'll set the hood over here. About ready to get this car into some primer. We got a little bit of body work we got to do to it. I'll show y'all later in the video what my intentions are. And we'll flip this over. Front, of course, the front tire falls off. But I spoke earlier about have everything mocked up as far as the tires are in place, the wheels are on the axle. This is just a piece of thin Tamiya tape that I've got the front K-member taped into. Now, if you see what I've done right here, this is behind the scenes stuff that you never do see, and a lot of builders don't even talk about it, but I will. This is the sheets, the 060 styrene that I put right here, and what I did was tape them into the top of the fender wells. In the end, I will more than likely, I will paint I'll probably paint those pieces black or something like that, and then I will glue them in at the final assembly. And what that'll do is that'll allow this tire to rest in the top of that fender well. And now you see the tape, but you don't see where the tire will cover up that little shim. Same thing on this fender well right here. Once I get that in there, all you see is my big fat thumb in the way. But how we'll build the once the final painting is done on the rear end and everything, and the rear end pieces. Let me grab this is the rear end piece that we're talking about. Once we get the everything built, everything will be tire, wheel, rear end assembly. All that will be pretty much built together. And then in the final assembly, what we end up doing is we'll take this final assembly, set it down in there with the 4-link loose. We'll position all the 4 links into the area like that. And once we've got everything where we want it at, even the coilovers will even be mounted on as well. We'll push that up into the position where the 4 links mount at. We'll hit that with some CA glue, and that rear end will be set. So that's pretty much, and more than likely, that the tires will be, these tires will be resting on those shims back there. And see, you don't even see those. Even if you were to flip it over, that is the reasoning why I cut these the same width as the tire. And if I wanted to, I could always put a couple of drops of epoxy down in the top of that, set that down in there. That way I'm not fiddling with trying to get that 4-link set into position. So, but just a little tips of the trade or the hobby, whatever you want to call that. But we'll continue breaking this. Let's break this down, then we'll show everybody what we've got here, and everything is pretty much ready to go into some primer. We got a little cold spell running through Georgia this weekend, so I don't really want to be spraying any paint or anything this weekend. There's the final that's the final product of the frame right there. We got a little bit of sanding to do, but maybe a little spot putty right here where that back half of MCV products fits in. But other than that, we are ready to send this bad boy into some paint. Let me grab a set of tweezers, and as you see, I tape these in. That way they stay into position. But there's all that is. It's just a little piece of that 060 material that's going to be glued up into the top of that. We'll take this one off as well, like that, and now we have a frame that's ready for paint. talked about earlier, the body work that we're going to be doing on this particular body. I'm going to be taking this light, little side marker light. We're taking the GTS emblems off as well, right here on the side. Taking this marker light off, and on the hood and the trunk area, it says GTS back here. We're going to be removing all those and smoothing those out. We'll just take a I like to take, anytime if I'm removing something, I take one of these flat blade chisel hobby knife blades right here, and we'll just scrape that off. We'll cut it off that way, and then we'll just kind of take and scrape that, then take some 800 grit sandpaper, get that smooth. That way that makes that go away. We'll come back over it with a little bit of gray primer. I think I'm going to use gray. Hadn't really decided yet if it's going to be the gray or white primer. But we'll come back over with the primer, see if that kind of bleeds through. If not, we'll keep sanding that down to those marker lights goes away. That pretty much concludes everything as far as how I like to get everything assembled with any of my Pro Street builds. Hope this series is helping a lot of you folks out that's wanting to maybe purchase one of the back halves, or even using one of the 67 Chevelle Pro Street frames as a donor for Pro Street, or one of the Chevy 2, the Nova back halves. Either one of those are good donors for doing a Pro Street build, as far as my opinion. But if you elect to go with a back half from MCV Products, go over to mcvproducts.net. Bring your models to life. It always just some great products. I like using those. Matthew and them sell a good product, and I really do and you enjoy using the back half, his engines, and his tire and wheel sets in a lot of my builds. And thanks for tuning in to the channel on the USACC build. The next part of the series will be priming, painting, things like that, doing interior paint of this series. Hope y'all are enjoying it. And if you're sitting at the bench, you ain't got anything else better to do, sit there and listen to the Scale Model Car podcast. Luca, BG, Jason, all the boys, they'll be sitting over there hopefully during the holidays, cutting up, having fun, talking models, and tell them Pappy sent you. Folks, hope everybody's had a great Thanksgiving. As I always say, if you can dream it, build it. God bless y'all. Pappy out here.